We've all been waiting patiently for Jadon Sancho to Manchester United. Patiently is an understatement. It's been nearly 2 years. But we are now, as you can see from the overlay there, Sancho to United is imminent. The excitement is really starting to build around Jadon Sancho's move to United, which is finally going to be ending with Sancho holding a United shirt. Big updates from Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein, who are two very well-respected men in the transfer game. I'm going to bring you everything that Fabrizio said. He hasn't said here we go yet, but we're basically on the edge of here we go from Fabrizio. That's how close we are to seeing Sancho holding up a United shirt. And that is big news. Where are you watching this from? Let me know in the comments. As always, I will try and give you a shout out throughout the stream. Make sure you please send in your super chats as well. I love answering your questions that you have about the show, about Sancho, about anything. But let's talk about the big update here from Fabrizio Romano and from David Ornstein. And as I said throughout the show, I'm going to make sure to give you shout outs where you're watching it from. Like Kelechi watching from Norway there. We've got Billy March watching from Australia. We've got Pascal watching from Tanzania. We've got Orgasmo, very nice name, watching from Australia. Anuj watching from India. Oh, look, we've got Julio watching from Guam. First I can see from Guam. Mark Sutcliffe watching from Wythenshawe. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to every single one of you. Let's dive straight into these updates. And it's starting with Fabrizio Romano. Jadon Sancho has never been so close to joining Manchester United. The gap now reducing between United's official proposal and Dortmund's price tag after further talks. Deal not signed or completed yet, but progressing to the final negotiation stages. And this is what we wanted to see from Fabrizio. He's never been so close to joining United, he says. The final negotiation stages, he says. I know there's been so many videos of the Sancho deal is close. The Sancho deal is really close. The Sancho deal is extremely close. I swear to God, the Sancho deal is close. But no, I'm being serious when I'm saying this. The Sancho deal really is now on the verge of being completed. Last summer, we were 40 million apart. This summer, it's in the single digits. And we head over to The Athletic and the update here from David Ornstein and Laurie Whitwell. David Ornstein, obviously, well, he's not untouchable in transfers, but he's pretty much as solid as you're going to get, right up there with Fabrizio Romano. Let's read through the article on The Athletic, and I'll give you all the information on what has happened and what has changed. If you are new, make sure you drop a like on the video, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you leave a comment where you're watching from. I'll give you some shout outs and send in your super chats, please. We have got Stephen watching from Ghana. Good morning to you. Angelo watching from Goa. We've got a boy watching from Ghana as well. We've got Timothy watching from Kingston, Jamaica. And we've got Sue watching from Nova Scotia, Canada. How you doing, Sue? Nice to see you. We've got Hassan watching from Abu Dhabi. And we've got Pogba. Maybe it's Pogba. I don't think it is. Watching from California. Sorry. Oh, look, Seth watching from Milton Keynes. I'm literally about to go to Milton Keynes. Is it raining there? I hope not. Right, let's run through this article from The Athletic. Manchester United have made further... Let me zoom in for you so you can read that a little bit easier. Manchester United have made further progress in negotiations with Dortmund to sign Sancho. And although a deal is not done, the two clubs are understood to be nearing an agreement. Nearing that goddamn agreement. Yes, please. United have been chasing Sancho, who is currently with the England squad for Euro 2020 for an extended period. And that is being polite, and that is an understatement. Discussion stalled 12 months ago when Dortmund demanded 120 million euros for Sancho without room for manoeuvre. And that's the key difference that's changed between last summer and this summer. Dortmund weren't willing to manoeuvre. They weren't willing to compromise last summer. They are this summer. There has been more willingness to find a solution this summer. That's what I was just saying. And it is understood the haggling is now down to single-digit millions with an expectation that an agreement will happen. Now, this is all the information. This is where we have to get our heads around because this is where it's important. Dortmund initially pushed for close to 100 million this summer, yet have more recently indicated a willingness to do a deal at 95 million, which is always the fee that Fabrizio Romano has said since the first day, really. United's first offer was based on a guaranteed 78 million euros, with a second bid this week proposing 85 million. A compromise is needed, and sources feel a fee of around 90 million would clinch the deal. Installments and add-ons are also under discussions. Now, this is quite an important point here, due to budgets being tight at United. Yeah, that's what happens when you're the Glazers, right? An agreement could be reached during the Euros with the formal side of the transfer resolved post-tournament. So that could mean that we just get an announcement that Man United have agreed a deal with Dortmund for Sancho. And that's pretty much as far as it will go during the Euro Championships. And anything past that in terms of the medical, in terms of Sancho doing any pictures and any promos, and actually Sancho holding up a United shirt, that is going to happen post-Euros. Now, since Sancho is focused on his role for England, there is not a major rush to resolve his future during the competition, but all sides are working to a timely conclusion. As you can tell by my voice and by my smile, I'm happy about this. I'm sure you are too. How many people are watching this? There's over 1,000 people watching on YouTube and Facebook. And if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, what are you doing? If you haven't dropped a like on the video, what are you doing? Drop a like on it now. We're on the verge of signing Jadon Sancho, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching on Facebook, drop a like and share the stream. Get as many Reds involved as possible. Like, we've got Martin watching from London. How you doing, Martin? Dylan watching from USA, Missouri. How you doing, my friend? Got Morgan watching from the North Pole. How you doing, man? How's the signal there? Wi-Fi good? Hope it's a bit warm. Don't think it is. Akim watching from Zambia. We've got Allison's TV channel watching from the US of A. But we are on the verge of signing Jadon Sancho. I'm excited. You are excited. And the reason I was going to do a video earlier after Fabrizio Romano did his update, but it didn't really feel like there was too much in terms of the movement. I didn't get too excited by it. But seeing David Ornstein and The Athletic putting out this article really saying that, look, man, it is on the verge of being done. That's something that's getting me excited because I need this transfer to be done because it's really taken away from the fact that we're about to sign Jadon Sancho, man. We're about to sign Jadon Sancho, and his numbers really are ridiculous. His return has been ridiculous. He is one of the most exciting young footballers. He's 21 years old, one of the most exciting young footballers in world football. And we are about to sign him and put him on the right wing at Manchester United. And do you have any idea how much that's going to transform the shape of our attack? I'm buzzing for it. And the fact that it's been dragging on has sort of taken away from that. Look, last year, was it 47? Got 17 goals and 15 assists. Not even a striker. Come on, man. Put that into an attack that's got Cavani, that's got Rashford, that's got Greenwood, that's got Bruno and Pogba behind them. Man, you're banging teams left, right, and centre with that. It's exciting. It really is exciting. And for a long time, I haven't allowed myself to get excited about signing Jadon Sancho because I thought, you know what? History tells me that I shouldn't really be getting excited about this because I don't know what's going to be happening. But it's great. And there's a comment here, actually, that stood out. So exciting, says Ishwar, yet he doesn't even play in the first 11 for his own country. I really wouldn't use Gareth Southgate's selections as a determination of whether a player is good or not. Given the fact that Jack Grealish didn't start for the first 2 games for England, my friend, I don't think you can use that to beat that stick to beat Sancho with. Damien Clark still staying pessimistic. I wouldn't believe any of it, Sam. United are a long way off signing him. Stay optimistic, Damien. It could be a great weekend for you. Pete Who Sweeps, don't rate Sancho at all. Let me know why in the comments. I don't know why that. We've got Ranuk watching from Nepal. We've got Frank watching from Nigeria. Zafre, good evening, watching from Singapore. How you doing? We've got Hernan watching from Tucson, Arizona on YouTube. As always, keep firing your comments in and keep firing your super chats in. I want to answer your questions. I don't just want to give you shout outs where you're watching it from, like Valentine watching from China over on Facebook. And it's important for the channel to get super chats as well. It helps me. So it'll help you. But I am dead excited about Sancho. I really, really am. I don't think you can underestimate how important he is going to be. Look at it. That's where we need to strengthen. That's where we've needed to strengthen for so long, is on this right wing. And that is where Jadon Sancho plays. If you imagine we're playing Sancho there with Greenwood through the middle or Cavani through the middle, Rashford on the left. I'll tell you what, hell, Dan James on the left. He's been playing there for Wales and nobody has created more chances at Euro 2020 so far than Dan fucking James. Got to give the kid credit for that. Clearly, it's a role that he can be good at. And I remember that left foot cross. Who was it for? Elanga against end of the season. Was it Villa? Can't remember who it was against. But I remember him pinging in a beautiful left-footed cross. Maybe James can play there. Our attack, after we've got Jadon Sancho, for me, is sorted. Sorted for next season at least. Because after next season, when Cavani's going to be leaving, and then we're going to be needing another striker. And hopefully, imagine you can get Sancho this year. I'm going to lean back because I'm enjoying this. Imagine you can get Sancho this year, and then next year, we get Erling Haaland. Woo, woo. I'm not letting myself get excited because that's probably never going to happen. But next year, Erling Haaland's got a 75 million euro release clause. So every single team in the world is going to be wanting to sign him. It's whoever offers him the most money, I suppose, and whoever offers him the best deal and what he wants in his career at that point. Let's head to the comments because there's so many of you comment on YouTube and Facebook where you're watching this from. We have got Kenzo watching from the Philippines. What's his shirt number going to be? I don't know what his shirt number is going to be. Let's see when he joins United. We've got DJ Anchor watching from Jamaica. How you doing, my friend? Hayden watching from Australia. How you doing, Hayden? We've got Pascal watching from Wolverhampton. We've got Sebesh watching from Mississauga. I'm going to say Mississauga. From Canada. Man, I want to visit Canada. Angelo, enjoying the show as always, mate. Watching from Colombo, Sri Lanka, sipping my coffee. Thank you very much, my friend. Really good to have you here and in the comments with all of us. Let's see what the comments are now. I'll read a few of them out. And as I said, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you drop a like on the video, please. Make sure you subscribe to United People's TV. And if you want to, send in your super chats and I will answer as many questions as I can. Thoughts on Maguire's performance versus Czech Republic, says Ariane. He was fantastic. Well, he wasn't, was he? Yeah, he was. He was. Yeah, he was. Who am I kidding? Yeah, he was. I think England, I think Maguire for England is a bit of a different beast. Maybe that's because he's got a better partner next to him, but he loves playing for England. That's why we signed him. I really feel like we signed him more for his England performances than from anything else. Mirizera. Sorry, I'm going to call you Cristiano because I can pronounce his second name. How is Sancho going to help? Because our major issue has been poor defending. Sancho is going to bring the balance to our attack in the shape of it. We're so left dominant. That's probably why Rashford is injured and constantly injured, because we're constantly playing down the left. We can't really circulate the ball around the right. So it's always down to Rashford to make things happen. Sancho coming in will bring some real balance to our team, some real balance to Pogba and Bruno's play. We'll have options down the right and the left. It will help Aaron Wan-Bissaka develop as a right back. Sancho coming in, because we're going to have an actual right back that plays there right winger, that plays there every single week. And that's going to be a very important aspect for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, because he needs that development in front of him. It's very hard for him to develop his game going forward when there's no regular player who's playing in front of him. It's very hard, and it's tough for him to improve in that regard. That changes when Sancho arrives. And I agree that our problems are in defence. And I've said it all along that our biggest priority, I said it in the video earlier today, which I'm sure you've all watched. If you haven't, what are you doing? That Ruben Neves would be a perfect signing for United in a position where we need to strengthen more than we need to strengthen at right wing. We need a central defensive midfielder and a centre-back before we need Sancho. So to get this Sancho deal done, what was it, 25th of June now? The season kicks off on the 14th of August. So what's that? 7-8 weeks we've got roughly until the start of the season. And Man United still really need to get this Sancho deal. I mean, the Sancho deal is not done, but it's as close as it has been the entire time. And that's where the excitement is coming from here. To hear Fabrizio Romano, going back to the news here, to look at his rhetoric, to his language, has never been so close, progressing to the final negotiation stages. Because Fabrizio have been doing updates every single day, basically. So to hear him using that language is a real indication that this really is now on the verge of being done. And I will happily wave goodbye to the Jadon Sancho saga, because it has been, let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, it is. Would you put it down as the most painful transfer saga that you've witnessed as a United fan? Let me know in the comments which transfer saga pissed you off the most. And maybe this one won't piss you off the most because the fact that we're actually going to be signing Sancho at the end of it. And that in itself is a bit different. But it's been a very painful one. I personally think, for the fact that last summer it seemed so close and then yet so far away. But I'm just happy that it's finally on the verge of getting completed, because we need Sancho. After all of this, we really, really need Sancho. Let me see in the comments, see what you're saying about which one you found more painful. We've got Mohammed saying Gaetan, got Endala saying Ramos from Real Madrid. We've got Footmax watching from Colombo, Sri Lanka. Another one watching from Colombo. How you doing? We've got Eunice on YouTube watching from Somali. Make sure you drop a like on the video, Eunice, and make sure you send in your super chats as well. But as well as getting movement with Sancho, there's more noise that keeps happening about Rafael Varane. Rafael Varane wants to join Manchester United due to his belief that now is the time for a new experience in his career. It's whether or not it's basically a straight fight, I would say, between PSG and United. Which club do you think Varane wants to join? Because both would be challenges in themselves. PSG, they've tied Neymar to a new deal. They want to try and get Mbappe to a new deal. They've already got Donnarumma on a free transfer. Could they get Varane as well? Absolutely, they could. But United could as well. All the noise about Varane is good. It's in the right direction. But for me, with Varane, I'm not getting too excited about that just yet, because at this moment in time, it feels like a Sergio Ramos more than anything else. It's just, I've got a natural disposition when it comes to dealing with players from Real Madrid and dealing with transfers from Real Madrid. And that's why I'll always sort of hold back on them until we get some actual real solid news. But it's good news. Everything in the right direction so far with Varane. Let's head down to the comments here. Got David Murphy on YouTube. Ronaldo was my heartbreak. Oh, when Ronaldo said he was being held as a slave at United. Remember that? I mean, it was always his dream to join Real Madrid, and no one ever begrudged him of that dream. And he got his dream at the end, but it was a bit, I didn't like how the way it went. And obviously that year after, he got to the Champions League final that year as well. Just wasn't the same Ronaldo that he was from 2007-8, was he? Ashe watching from Trinidad. How you doing, my friend? Let's see where else we're watching. We've got Michael watching from Kenya. Hassan watching from Sweden. How are you doing, my friends? Ronaldo going to PSG, says Ryan. Well, I hope not. Lewis watching from Saudi Arabia, and Hamza watching from Pakistan. If you've just joining in, how are you doing? Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe to United People's TV on YouTube, and like the page on Facebook, and send in your super chats if you've got any real questions you want to ask me. And I will quickly give you a run through of what's happened. We've got Fabrizio Romano saying that Jadon Sancho has never been so close to joining United. A deal was not signed or completed yet, but progressing to the final negotiation stages. That's the clincher here. That's why it's an important update. And here you've got an article on The Athletic from David Ornstein and Laurie Whitwell. Man United nearing agreement with Dortmund to sign Sancho. Said United have made further progress in negotiations, talking about the deals here, talking about the fact that the haggling now is down to single-digit millions. Last summer, it was 40 million. This time, it's less than 5 million. That's the big thing here. A compromise is needed, and the source still what they're saying, around 90 million. It sounds like United will get that. But here's another bit. Due to tight budgets at United. And that's what happens when you have the Glazers. Got the Glazers, eh? The budgets are tight at United because of our owners, not because of anything else. And because of that, that's why we keep squeezing. Maybe I was unfair when I said that John Murtough's arrival was supposed to stop this sort of nitpicking in the transfer market. You know, haggling over 5 million euros when it would be more of a benefit to United to get a deal done early. But you know, I've said plenty on that, and I will say more on that in the future as well. But we're finally about to get it done. My God, I can't tell you how excited I am. Let's head back down to the comments here. We've got Morgan asking, any news on the Glazers selling? Unfortunately, Morgan, I don't think they will be selling. No one's going to force the Glazers to sell until they need the money themselves, or until a really ridiculous offer comes in. That's basically what's going to happen with the Glazers. We've got Barry watching from Dominica on Facebook. How you doing, Barry, my friend? 100 million transfer budget before sale, says Mohammed. How you doing, Mo? One of the mods. I mean, if it's 100 million transfer budget and we're about to spend 85 million on Sancho, we're not signing anybody else, are we? Let's head down. Someone sent in a super chat. Make sure I read that out for Surav. Thank you very much for sending this in. We are concentrating way too much on Sancho, opening a risk with DM. Unless we strengthen our squad, we'll have the same old problem. Shout out to you from India. So big up, Surav. Thank you very much for sending that in, my friend. And I completely agree with you. It's something that I've said all along. And you are too right. We are concentrating too much on Sancho. But I suppose with a deal that's this big, it's the most glamorous signing we're going to be making this summer. And that's why it's going to take the headlines. And it continued from last year. So it was a bit painful in that regard. We are concentrating too much on Sancho. But if we get it done now, we've got about 7-8 weeks before we kick off the season against Leeds at home on the 14th of August to get a deal for a defensive midfielder done and the deal for a centre-back done. If we can get elite-level signings in all three of those positions, I will happily go on record to say that we can compete for the Premier League title next year. I think our squad will be good enough to compete with City if we make those three key signings. And it's not an insurmountable amount of signings to make in the same summer, especially when at the same time you can sell Jesse Lingard, you can sell Phil Jones if somebody will please want to buy him, you can let Juan Mata go. That's 3 players off your wage bill straight away, big money coming in. Diogo Dalot, what's happening with him? Brandon Williams, is he going out on loan? There's plenty that United can get off their books quite easily if it is about balancing the books. It's about getting those players out that shouldn't be here, that aren't really going to be helping towards our title push next year, and creating room for new ones, like a central defensive midfielder, which is so critical. Let's go down to the comments, see where you're watching this from. Got Rusty Steele. How you doing, Rusty? Watching from Castledown. Hopefully there will be a few more in and Deadwood out. I agree with you, my friend. Let's see where else you're all watching this from. We've got Zafrullah watching from Hong Kong. Hello. Got John watching from Sierra Leone, west coast of Africa. How you doing? I hope the weather's lovely there today. We've got Dylan watching from Penang in Malaysia. And we've got Kagawa Boy. Not Shinji, I don't think. Maybe it is. Watching from Italy. All around the world. I really enjoy this. And Sive watching from Swaziland. If you're new, make sure you drop a like on the video. I can see there's nearly 1,500 of you watching. So come on, man. Drop likes on the video. And make sure you subscribe if you are new in town. And send in your super chats. I'm going to keep talking about Sancho because I'm excited about it. Let's have a quick look at... Let's go back over here. I want to see some Jadon Sancho stats. Who thinks that Jadon Sancho will start against Germany? Let me know in the comments below. I don't think he will. I think Bukayo Saka was too good in the last game. I think if anyone's going to start on that right wing, it's probably going to be him. But let's see what you think in the comments below. Got Emmanuel watching from Nigeria. Whoop. We've got another one, Colombo. Pavith watching from Colombo in Sri Lanka. Big up Sri Lanka today. Loads of you watching there. We've got Joseph watching from Malta. Oh my God, there's so many comments I can't keep up. This is why I keep telling you, make sure you send your super chats in if you actually want to ask me a question, because there's so many comments that fly in from all of you wanting shout outs where you're watching it from. I genuinely can't keep up with the questions, and so many good questions disappear. So make sure you, if you're watching on YouTube at least, fire them in a super chat so I don't miss those questions. We got Cristiano. How come all our players play well whilst on international duty? Pogba, Lingard, Lindelof, and James. They don't look like our players. It's fair to say that James is certainly playing better. Maybe the setup suiting him more. He certainly hasn't played on the left at United. Maybe we're playing him in the wrong position. Pogba, he always plays better with France. It's not to say that he's not played good at all with United, but he certainly always plays better with France. And we've always seen that. And for me, that's because he's got Kante alongside him and he's freed up. That's another reason why we need a defensive midfielder. And Lindelof, he can be good and he can be crap with United. And Sweden, they're certainly doing it at the moment. And Forsberg is absolutely crushing it. Got Kimberly saying, you haven't mentioned anything about United needing a penetrative midfielder like a Tielemans from Leicester, a genuine number 8. Now, I would argue that Bruno Fernandes is already that midfielder. And you could probably argue that Pogba is already that midfielder. But without that defensive midfielder, both of them, a little bit of their brain is thinking about defending. And therefore, they can't focus on someone like Tielemans who can do that because he's got Ndidi behind him. It's all about that player behind him. If you really want a penetrative midfielder who can burst through and break through the lines, you need a defensive midfielder to screen and protect them if they get it wrong. At the moment at United, Pogba and Bruno have to have one eye behind them because they just don't trust Scott McTominay and Fred or Matic or whoever's playing there. They don't trust them to do that job properly. And I think that that's an issue that United just have to resolve. We have to get that done. Let's look quickly at some Jadon Sancho stats. because we're all excited about it now. Ooh, baby. Look at that. 92 created assists on SofaScore. Taking a look at his average positions. Let's see for the Bundesliga last year. If you look at him there, look at his heat map. It's just as much on the left as it is on the right. Played 26 games, started 24, got 8 goals. I mean, and 11 assists. Man, I can't wait to see what this guy does. It's going to be so, so good at United to have somebody who actually can play properly on the right wing as a natural right winger. Dark Prince 87, big up you and your super chats, my friend. Hey, Sam, do you think if we fortify right wing and central defensive midfield only, we can hold off centre-back this year and go for that next year? It's a very, very good question. And I would personally say yes. And the reason I would say yes is because I think if we sign a central defensive midfielder, it will negate the importance of having a top quality centre-back. And for example, a comparison of what I mean there. In De Gea, in Mourinho's second year, I think, when we came second, and David De Gea was our player of the year. He was our player of the year because we had such a crap leaky defense that he constantly had to make like 10, 15 saves a game. He was so busy. But then when we got Maguire in after Mourinho left and we solidified and we weren't giving away as many chances, there was less need for an amazing shot stopper like David De Gea, which is why his importance at the club has sort of diminished a little bit. And the same thing will happen on our centre-backs being under pressure all the time if we have a central defensive midfielder who sits in front of them and protects them, because the pressure will be on that defensive midfielder instead of on the centre-backs. So by bringing in that central defensive midfielder, we will reduce the pressure on Harry Maguire and Lindelof or Tuanzebe if he's still at the club. And that is why, for me, it's the most important. There's so many reasons why a central defensive midfielder for getting the best out. I might even do a video on it because there are so many reasons, so many different reasons as to why that defensive midfield signing is so crucial. But 2 I've explained there. 1, it reduces the pressure on the centre backs, and 2, it allows Pogba and Bruno to really focus on what they're doing going forward. But I might do it in a separate video because I think it's very important. But thank you very much for your super chat, Dark Prince. I need to find that comment. I'll take that off the screen. Whoop. Anybody else got any questions you want to send in? Fire them in, and I'll analyze them in the super chat. So make sure you send them in. But let's go back to these stats, baby. Strengths of Sancho: playmaking, passing, high pressing. And the high press is key because whenever United play well, as far as I'm concerned anyway, we press high. Bruno leads the press. The attackers, that's why Cavani really suited this team so well. Greenwood is learning the press. Rashford really is a natural presser. And someone like Sancho, he comes in and not only goes onto the right wing, but, you know, Di Maria could come back now and do a job on the right wing, but he wouldn't be the pressing player that Sancho would be. And that's why Sancho, for me, is such an importantly complementary signing. That's the way I would describe Sancho. It's not just a signing for the sake of signing someone. It's signing someone who's A, amazing, B, one of the best in the world, and C, it fits in this United system that Solskjaer has been building so well. And that is crucial. Let's have a quick look at the comments and see where you're all watching this from. As always, we've got Olivia watching from Mauritius. Good afternoon to you. Got Yor watching from Ghana. Got Jonathan watching from Liberia, and Nasian watching from Malaysia. Where else? Shashank watching from India. How you doing, my friend? How you doing, everybody? And James watching from Mauritius. Man, it really is good fun watching everyone around the world. We've got Habubakar watching from Ivory Coast. Is that Ireland? Can't tell. Flag's too small. Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho. Oh, look at that. It's that heat map that gets me excited. It really, really does. What did he do the year before? Out of curiosity. Wow. He was certainly more involved. Certainly more involved in that season. And maybe we'll see Sancho play on the left sometimes. I really don't want to see that. I want to see Marcus Rashford never playing on the left-hand side ever again. No, sorry, I'm not never playing on the right-hand side ever again. He's so much better on the left. So much better. But having that balance, honestly, watch Wan-Bissaka next year and we've got Sancho. I would probably tip him to be the most improved player. Wan-Bissaka was very good this year, and I think he actually improved quite a lot. But watch him for me. You know how Luke Shaw's had that year this year? You'd probably say that Luke Shaw was the most improved player at United. I'd say Wan-Bissaka, if we get Sancho, and it looks like the deal is getting done, baby. If we get Sancho, then Wan-Bissaka for me is probably going to be the most improved player next year. Let's see what goes on there. But I'm sure there's plenty of you watching just now, and you've only just joined in. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to United People's TV. Please send in your super chats as well. And I'll give you a quick run through of what's happened. Fabrizio Romano has said the deal has never been so close and that it's progressing to the final negotiation stages. And that was followed up by an article on The Athletic from David Ornstein and from Laurie Whitwell saying that an agreement is near. And yes, I know it's been near as well, but the rhetoric is changing. The language is changing, people. This is why it's getting exciting. This is why I'm exciting. Look, the haggling is now down to the single millions. Compromise is needed. An agreement could be reached during the Euros, but medicals and stuff will happen after. This is exciting news, and this is why I did this video. So Sancho to United, as you can see from the overlay there, Sancho to United is Sancho to United is imminent. Easy peasy. I'm going to be here. I mean, it might break over the weekend. If it does break over the weekend, I'm going to be probably doing this from a boat somewhere because I'm going on a little weekend away. Hopefully, I'll come back and Sancho will be a United player. But thank you all very much for joining in. And I hope you all enjoyed the live stream. Tons of you watching from all around the world. As I do in every single stream, I give as many of you shout outs as possible. If you're watching this on YouTube, please drop a like on the video. Please subscribe to United People's TV if you're new. I don't want to beg, but you're going to be missing out on great content. So why wouldn't you? And if you can, as always, in the next stream, please fire in your super chats because as you can see in the comment section, there's too many comments coming in for me to keep on top of. And loads of you send in some great questions and I want to answer plenty of them. But if you really want to get them answered, you're going to have to send in the super chat on YouTube because I can't really see them otherwise. But thank you all for joining in. I hope you enjoy your weekend. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'll be back as soon as there's a bigger update. But Sancho to United is imminent. Let's get excited.